What if I told you that you're not broken? Well, you're not, but you might be living your life without seeing the big picture of how your life experiences are actually supposed to be functioning. So today I'm going to be talking about how to discover your superpower and how to make it work for you, how to actually cultivate it in a way that makes your life better. So for those of you who are new to my channel, I'm Ketra Thompson, and I'm a certified master hypnotist and a relational recovery coach. So I help people reframe things on a subconscious level because our subconscious belief system is running over 95% of everything we think, feel, and do. So when we address these issues that are holding you back in life on a subconscious level, it allows you to create authentic connections and create a life that you love. So if you'd like to learn more about that, there is a link in the description below. You can check that out. There is a spot on my website where you can easily schedule a free consultation call so that we can see if we're a good fit to work together, and you can find out all the information there. You can also download a totally free hypnosis recording on my website, so you'll want to check that out. And before I get going, I would also like to mention that if this content resonates with you, I really appreciate it when you hit like and subscribe. By hitting subscribe, you can be notified every time I post a new video, so you won't want to miss that. So what most people don't realize is that our actual superpowers come from our childhood. And oftentimes they come from the things that weren't great about our childhood. So I want to tell you a little bit about why that's the case, and I'll give you my story as an example. So my parents were divorced when I was 5 years old. Immediately, my dad had to take a job that took him across the country. So this was a big change in my life. And I was still developing what I thought about myself and the world around me. But very quickly, I learned how to read people. I had very different dynamics on my mom's side of the family from my dad's side of the family. And I learned very quickly that there was a vast difference between their expectations of me and their expectations of certain behavior. So I got really tuned in to the shifts in anyone's energy, the way they looked on their face, the way they acted, their tone. And I did this so that I could be accepted. So I would be what this person wanted and expected me to be here so I could have love and acceptance, and I would be what this other person over here wanted and expected of me over there. And I didn't even know who I really was yet, so I couldn't even really just be me, but I knew there was a level of not getting the love that I wanted if I didn't act a certain way. And so it really helped me tune in to what that looks like. So I became keenly aware of the most subtle shifts, and it also gave me the ability to kind of see what was behind the screen. When you're really young and you're observing what's going on, you can see other people in your life. If they behave one way in one situation, but then you hear how they talk kind of behind the scenes in another situation, you start piecing together who the real version of that person is. And so this is something that I picked up on and that I became very aware of. So for everyone, it's a little different. We all have different upbringings and belief systems, and we create these different behavior patterns based on what our young childhood years were for the most part. Obviously, we can have things later in our life that contribute to this, but we're really creating a skill set when we're young, and that's what I was doing. So the thing is, you want to be able to find out what your superpower is. So how do you know what your superpower is? Well, the first thing you ask yourself is, what do I love doing? What could I do for hours and hours and hours and it wouldn't drain me? So when I ask myself that, I'm going to put the pieces together here for you. When I asked myself that, the answer is I could talk about relationships and relationship dynamics with friends or clients endlessly. I could just go on and on about them, and they really don't wear me out. And the thing is, this is my superpower because I was keenly tuned into it as a child. The differences between people, how they related to each other differently, all the relationship dynamics back then. And I took a lot of time as an adult to cultivate and educate myself on these dynamics further because it's something that I enjoy and that I love. And so when you put those two pieces together, what I cultivated as a child and what I chose to continue cultivating and learning about as an adult, and the fact that I can do it effortlessly, that I enjoy it, is a really good indication that that's my superpower. I can see into people's relationship dynamics, and I can help shed some light on things and untangle things and really help people get to the bottom of what's going on. So it's different for everyone, but that is what resonates with me. Now, using myself as an example, I want to tell you what's the wrong way for me to use that. So the wrong way for me to use that is I see what other people want from me and then I shrink back. I become small and I do what other people want of me because I can see what they want. I know what they want. I can tell what's going on with them, and I make myself smaller because of it. So your superpower isn't being used like a superpower if it keeps you small or held back or it becomes this hang up for you. That's when you're not using it to its full potential. So that same superpower for me could easily become a stunted part of my life. It could be crippling because if I'm using that to shrink down, then I'm not being assertive. I'm not growing in my own capability of knowing myself, and that's a problem. So let me talk about the right way to use it. The right way to use your superpower, especially in this example that I'm using of mine, it's to treat it as a gift. It's a gift to empower yourself and to empower others. It's not making yourself small to let others shine. It's not ignoring others just to be self-centered. It expands you and it expands others in a really healthy way. So instead, I would share my insights without attachment to the outcome. So if I see this dynamic and I see what someone does or doesn't want, and I know what I do and don't want, now I can actually share openly being myself without attaching myself to the outcome. That means I'm not trying to control what the other person does with themselves. I'm simply aware of what I want, what I need, and I can either stay or go or create a boundary or express my need, but without this manipulative factor where I'm really trying to make someone else be something they're not or control the outcome in a manipulative way, if that makes sense. So instead, my insight, it becomes a gift. It becomes a gift to me and whoever I'm talking to, whether that's someone who's personally in my life or a client, because I can share the insight that I have and we can actually have a dialogue that creates more understanding. Now, one way to use your superpower in a really healthy way is to cultivate your own self-worth. Because when you know what your self-worth is, it changes how you function with other people. So when you're connected to your self-worth, the criticism and assumptions or judgments from other people, they don't sting quite as bad. They don't hit you in a place that is crippling because you know that they don't define who you are. You know it on a deep, solid level. Not just something you say flippantly, but you know it and you live it, and you're able to live being your most authentic self. It really means letting go of shame. Shame is such a trap, and shame will keep you stuck in a same old pattern of thinking because it narrows your view of possibility. It makes you think there's only one way to do this. You have to do X, Y, and Z before you can have this over here, or you have to react this way to these people or you're not going to get what you want, which is, again, really controlling outcome, right? You think you've got to do things a certain way to get things that you want. And so when you let go of shame, you're no longer stunting your expression of self. You're able to be yourself. You're able to openly express what you want, what you feel. And you're not doing it from a place of manipulation, you're doing it from a place of authenticity, right? So we let go of that shame, which I can say that like it's easy, but it's actually not that easy. It's very embedded in us. And so it does take some very specific steps to make that happen. So there's two things that you can do that really could change the dynamic of this for you. First and foremost, of course, hypnotherapy. When you have customized hypnotherapy sessions, we dig into what's causing the behavior at a root cause on a subconscious level, reframe it on a subconscious level. So now you're operating with a new understanding, a new operational system. So you're not battling these old beliefs constantly anymore. And it lets you have a lot more momentum moving forward because you've released a lot of those old false beliefs. So that's incredibly powerful. But there's also some things you can do on your own starting today. So first, start asking yourself what you're using your superpower for. Are you using it out of pure self-protection for yourself, or are you using it as a gift or to just shine brightly, letting yourself be seen? Are you being authentic with others? And if you're not, you can start practicing sharing your real opinions. So I mean this in a very real, practical way. So when you're going to watch a movie with friends, instead of going, I don't care, we'll watch whatever you want. No, you share what you want. Even if the group decides to watch something else, you still let it be known what your opinion was. And a good way to do this is to ask yourself, if you weren't going with anyone else, what would you choose? Same with a restaurant. If you weren't going with anyone else, what restaurant would you choose? You would have to make a choice. Start dialing into that. That's who you really are. And that is what you need to do. You need to be able to become assertive in stating your preferences. It doesn't mean it's always going to go your way. It means you're letting the world see you, the real you. And that's the best way to start getting to know the real you, what you really want. So start being a little introspective about that, and then start speaking out to the people around you. So another little example is, like, let's say you're a woodworker and you're building something just for the praise of others, these things that you know other people just really want. But the truth is, you really love building this other thing, and you don't do it because you don't think it'll sell or you don't think people will want it. Being authentic would mean choosing to build the thing you love, and then knowing that people who also feel the same as you, that love and appreciate it, will come, will want it, will be there, will want to buy it, or you'll gift it to you. These are simple examples of being authentic to you and not shrinking down. So identifying your superpower, again, is about identifying what you love, what you could do without getting exhausted for hours and hours. And then seeing if you're using that in a healthy form or a non-healthy form. And then building that self-worth so you can be more assertive in your own life and you can take your power back. So, of course, I have programs for all of this, specific hypnotherapy programs, programs for couples, programs for men and women. You can find all of that on that link from my website below in the description. And until next time, I hope you curate a life by your own design.